Yeah, for sure. Elevate go into this game as strong favourites, and evidently the desk did find it quite difficult to sell Variant X as victors in this match. So if you're betting your points, I'd be putting them on Elevate. It's very, very difficult to see them losing this game, but stranger things have happened. So we obviously just have to wait and see how it does pan out. Elevate also are starting out on the attack, so they may have some growing pains getting themselves into this game. In terms of the bans, though, Habana off the board first for Variant X. That's a hard bridge dealt with, and Dockerby to follow up, who has been quite a popular pick in this region so far.
I guess in a game like this, though, keeping it, I guess, quite logical with Variant X, they're not expected to win it. I mean, if they do happen to, it would be a massive upset. What's the goal then? What are you even trying to gain out of this game? Because, I mean, they attempt on Villa against Bleed. First half didn't seem probably too bad when you put up 2 against them, and in the second half they just couldn't crack their defensive Bleed, so their attack very much struggled. They're on the defense first here on Clubhouse, so I guess do you just try and do one better? You got 2 defensive rounds on Villa. Coming over to Clubhouse, do you just aim for 3, aim for 4 even, would be a bit of a masterstroke, because obviously attacking in this region has been honestly quite abysmal today, and Elevate will have to, I guess, buck the trend.
Yeah, the approach is obviously critical, and I hope that Variant X do go in with a positive mindset. Don't play in their shell too much and just give it what they have and then react accordingly. I think that's the testament really for any team in this matter, is you go in with a plan. When it starts to fall apart, then you adapt, you tweak it, and then go from there. So let's see what they bring to the table. I mean, this lineup could be used quite aggressively from the defense. The Mozzie in combination with some key fragging operators like the Ella, like the Alibi. This could indicate a full roam, try to then get their way back towards site and deny that information and stall out time. So that's what we anticipate heading in to this first round, and that's a good test for Elevate. If they are a team that wants to compete with the big dogs, then a Clubhouse roam clear shouldn't be all that difficult.
10 seconds to insertion.
Interesting to see the Ella here from Peter. Don't probably see Ella all that much these days.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
And obviously Variant X, I think the biggest thing that they have to decide is, do you play into the roam? Do you sit on site defensively? There's a lot of questions here that they're probably posing to themselves. Sometimes you sit on site and you probably feel like you're almost giving in. Well, a little bit of timing there from Rams. He probably should have just held the door. Ape didn't give him much, though, in fairness. Almost gets a second one here as well, over towards Lounge. Ape now just gets to drop in towards Pit for free. Strike can't do a whole lot about it. Obviously, Ella was here before from Peter, so you do have the passions set up. But a great start for Elevate on the attack. Variant X is just kind of running around now on the roam, a little bit headless.
Yeah, it's already thrown the roam into disarray, which doesn't really give them much confidence in their ability to stall time. That said, Ape down, and Zis with the swing. A second over towards pool table, doesn't quite land those shots. It gets aggressive. I tell you what, so many players in this region, they will miss that initial spray and then continue to charge forward, hoping to cut an opponent off guard. 3 versus 3 though, the trade from HCOG. Killers as well will be able to reposition as Oil Pit's now being discarded. Blue open as well. So the round now will slow down in pace just a smidge. A lot of chaos there through the mid round, but it will stabilize.
No hard breach available. Although Tolji, of course, does have the ability to open up that hatch. That will be all. So Church itself, though, will be possible to open up those reinforced walls. So kitchen hatch opened up, just over a minute remaining. 3 versus 3.
Attackers have located a bomb.
The diffuser with Tolji. And his backhod will go for the drone over towards Secret, and then eventually in towards Blue. Strike Killers on site, along with Peter on the Ella. Probably this way, maybe expecting that kitchen drop. Are they prepared though for HCOG? Well, I guess has to be careful of that Goyo canister. 40 seconds remaining. Tolji's actually droned out Moto. And that's going to mean Bucko will make his way over there. And obviously they've realized no one holding in that location. 30 seconds left. What happens here with HCOG?
Oh, well, he almost got a kill, but fortunately just didn't quite land the additional bullet required. Down bottom main though, Strike will fall to the Ash and then get traded. 15 seconds now, and this round has been explosive from start to finish. And told you now, diffuser in hand, a 1v2, but he's going to get flanked from above. Full information for Peter, but it may not even be Peter to secure the kill. It's not. VRX take round 1.
Yeah, that was really strong from them. Really good showing early on to get the opening round. Church Arsenal, definitely one of the more difficult rounds to attack. I mean, of the sites on Clubhouse, typically see defenders hold out strong. But the way in which they played it, confidence, they definitely oozed confidence. The roam above, you know, maybe it wasn't the cleanest roam. They didn't necessarily just get a kill, run back, and do it the more conventional way. They stuck around, lost 1, got 2, but they backed themselves in. They had the confidence within themselves, and you've got to give them credit. That was a really nice round. Variant X. And they get rewarded, that's the main thing. We've seen probably a couple of teams today have some good rounds that didn't get rewarded, and that will give Variant X even more confidence that they can take it up to this new look Elevate roster.
They're now in play in the hands of Peter for Variant X. A couple of different ways you can employ her. Typically for that hash extension and the logistics extension. And that will seemingly be the way in which they want to use that mirror. Castle as well in play, really good for cutting down some of the angles down below. If Variant X want to be able to be more mobile through bar and rotate elsewhere, it's important that those long lines of sight are at least something that the likes of HCOG will need to deal with in the way of Ordinal Mute as well available. So let's see how Elevate reacts. They're not playing the Thatcher, they're not playing secondary EMPs, but they are opting for a 6 nade lineup. Speak easy very quickly on that balcony, almost able to find a pick.
Yeah, and for Speak Easy, this stage is so important, I think, for him individually. Obviously, he used to be regarded as the best player in the region a little while ago. And that obviously has tapered off, really, as 2022 went on. Things went downhill for Speak Easy. This needs to essentially be a bit of a redemption year for him on this roster. We see a good start in their opening match. Didn't quite have the impact he would have liked in this opening round. On opened up. Obviously, there's a really good pathway in towards logistics as well. Set up purposely by Variant X. Pate, got to be a little bit careful pushing in over towards this CCTV position. Took a lot of damage. And just poking his head through the window on the balcony, Speak Easy. Rams probably, I think, just sat there for a second, thought, surely that's not a head, and it was. And he just takes it right off Speak Easy. Pate low, back on is low, and now dead. Variant X are absolutely in pole position, guys. They should be able to take the opening 2 rounds of this game.
And it's looking really good. Rams, though, is under some pressure, but being aided by his team, and in fact has the confidence to push forward and continues his charge. Should be able to swing and get a second, and he does. It's 3 in the round. Told you. Up above on the roof, a 1v4. 60 seconds to work with. Might be able to find Rams. But no, he's out of there. So a great round from Rams. Variant X overall looking very, very solid. And a match that we thought for Elevate would be quite easy, quite straightforward, proving to be anything but thus far.
I mean, to be fair, it is obviously defense here on Clubhouse, but I mean, wonderful signs obviously coming out here from Variant X. It's the way they're playing it. You know, there's certain times, guys, when we watch these kind of games and you go, oh, okay, well, it's probably just because of this, and they're on the defense and it's Clubhouse, and you know, but they're playing well. I mean, they are hitting really good shots, playing aggressive positions, you know, actively trying to be in a position where they're going for kills. They're trying to get on the front foot. They're trying to get early advantages. And look at this. How often do we see fast stage really come into the fruition on Clubhouse? It's not often. So clearly they've got themselves a little pocket pick here, and I wonder if this is going to throw Elevate off.
Yeah. Okay, this is interesting. I like this. Variant X, the confidence is flowing. And Bar is a site which hasn't been experimented with a whole lot in the past in this region, and when it has, it's been very, very much on the fringe and hasn't sort of cracked into the mainstream by any stretch of the imagination. So let's see how Elevate look to contest it, because thus far these attacks have not inspired too much confidence. Rams again, over towards Cash and CCTV, playing first point of contact. It's likely that Elevate will want to enter from this portion of the map, take across and gain that vertical pressure as they go along. So Rams is in a great spot to gain information here and to call out exactly what Elevate are doing.
And they just really capitalize on this start, extend this lead. I think back to their first game earlier this evening, they only picked up 2 rounds in total against Bleed Esports. They've already matched that inside the first 2 rounds against an Elevate team that's 7-0 Devil Dog in the opening match of this league. 7-0 to 0-2. Big turnaround. VRX sort of just highlighting it's not going to be a 4-horse race at the top. There are other teams in this league that can compete. We saw that from Champion. And I think we're seeing that from VRX.
Oh, okay, nice pick from Healthcare. A 5v3 and Elevate will march on forward. Is this slow? Oh, I was going to say, apply pressure from up above, but immediately silenced. Rams and Peter, presumably now down below, they are. Peter can gain information with that pulse scanner, but it's up to Rams to act upon it. He needs to win this fight. Over towards front door. He's isolated though, the castle barricader works against him, and Ape times that push to perfection.
I'm reloading.
Now it's 1v4.
A little bit unlucky with the timing. Probably should have got the kill the first time when holding that angle. Ape, quite fortunate there was a bit of a slow reaction. Vulture looking to just open up this barricade. Pushing in towards Bar. It's going to be Peter though, that might give them a surprise. If he has good trigger discipline, he should get both. And he got the one. There's a little bit of a messy spray. Prone behind them. Not the easiest of angles. But Elevate finally on the board with an attacking round win here on Clubhouse. And they probably don't need too many. As much as they would like to come into this game and just sort of just stomp VRX and win 7-0, 7-2, 7-1, something along that margin, you got to give them the respect. It's defense Clubhouse. They're expected to get 4 rounds. And if you can stop them from getting to 4 and they only get to 3, there's nothing wrong with that. Doesn't matter if they only got 2 against Bleed Esports. You know, sites like Church Arsenal, they're hard to win as an attacking team in a region that's clearly struggling on the attack on any site at the moment. But VRX's pocket pick, it did not work out for them in that 3rd round. And they'll definitely be ruining their chances that maybe they could have gone to a more conventional site.
Adding some protection from grenades.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds to go.
Maestro being brought in here by Variant X for the 4th round.
Is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Just adding to the util that Elevate will need to clear. They themselves, Polgy specifically, will bring the fuse. Now there is potential to get value from fuse on this site. Kitchen hallway, kitchen itself, a soft floor, so you can send those pucks down below. Eat up magnets, perhaps try and find a bit of util along the way and some pressure onto defenders that may be playing close by. We'll see whether or not it does have an impact, and of course secondary hard breach as well can prove useful for positions like dirt and with the bar hatch. Hold that thought though, Rams inside of strip. I don't know if that spray was based on information. Oh, Rams all the way outside. This is high risk, especially with that wall now open.
I don't think I've ever really seen a junkyard run out. Francis provided it for me though, as Buckhold will punish him. Just kind of left the door ajar now for Elevate. You get rid of that player, now they can push it over towards main stairs. Get kitchen control. Open up these hatches. Puts the pressure now right back onto the defenders. They are down a player, back down on site, and really feeling the pressure from Elevate above. Speak easy over towards Secret. Got quite a bit of damage onto Peter as well. Had to throw out a gas bait and forced a retreating Ash away from this position. Drones back through blue and watches him actually get the cross. That's important. And then gets a free kill onto Killers. Knows he's going to peek from the generator. Loses the fight anyway. Peter low on health, but stays alive. It's still Elevate with the man advantage.
Told you now looking to clear out blue.
Attackers have dropped the bomb.
Opens the hatch as well. And a couple of different options here for the attack. They can rotate diffuser for a church plant. They could alternatively go armory for B. I think both at this point would be viable considering where the defenders are positioned. Barcode with the shock drone. Just looking to disrupt the evil eye there on the right hand side. Told you now can actually use his gadget now on the main wall. That launcher might be able to pressure the Maestro, but I don't think the U2 will go deep enough as they now filter through. Ape, clean shot, makes it 2. And Elevate starting to gain some momentum.
Yeah. 2 rounds in a row now where they've really just picked up the pace. Looking quite a bit more prominent on the attack and probably look a little bit more like their usual selves for these respective players. So 2-2, VRX's little dream start. And crashing back to reality that it's going to be a very, very difficult ask against this Elevate team. They played so well in the first 2 rounds though, and that's where you just got to give them credit. It was really, really good showing. But you kind of see the cracks a little bit in these next 2 rounds. I mean, the run out junkyard in that last round and it gets caught in strip. I mean, you just don't have to make those kind of plays. You've got to think about, is it worth the risk? And I'm not too sure if it really is. And then you get punished for it. You're not gaining a whole lot, but you're losing a whole lot. And it comes back to bite you. And then you think about also site choice as well, going past stage. So there's some things that VRX are kind of doing that is really giving Elevate a good look in, and they're just going to punish you.
And I was about to mention, it would have been quite intriguing to see Speakeasy sticking an ace roll here on this team. Considering as well that he's struggling, at least by his standards, in the frag department. But he'll switch back over to Yana. Perhaps he'll look to find some confidence on the entry here in the last couple of rounds on the attack. VRX are committing once more to a roam. At least Strike is on the Solace. No Mozzie on this occasion. Exchange out for that Solace. And Elevate, I think, will still want to get some presence top down. But every single defender back towards basement quite early on in the piece. Expecting them to still hold the stairs to prevent exactly that. Speak easy marches forward, and that's an opening kill that VRX will not be pleased with.
Yeah, that momentum just keeps building now for Elevate. Very clinical in these last couple of rounds, and just their ability to get these opening kills makes it a whole lot easier. You get that opening pick, really just spreads the defense thin. They can't do anything above. Now they're just sitting on site. Holding bot main, blue position. You know, these are positions that can get really bullied. Find kills, you can drone them out. You can open up moto hatch, kitchen hatch, really put pressure on. No one's contesting. So what can VRX really do? You're not in a position to do a whole lot. Strike throws the nade above, in towards kitchen. Not even sure if there's anything in there yet. Actually, it was actually towards main stairs. No one in kitchen just yet. A lot of main stairs pressure. Speak easy. Makes a big, big push down there already. Expecting the peak from Church. Minute 20. It's still all Elevate in making things happen. Told you, wondering if he can maybe actually make this drop already.
Has to be careful though. Killer's close by, now on triple wall. This can be a very powerful position, but nullified. Rams, though, shuts down bottom main, so that evens out the man count with a minute on the clock. Diffuser down as a result, so that needs to be collected by Elevate. I told you we'll be able to rotate for that. But Speak Easy, looking at him now to be the one to step up, make a play, and open up blue.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
I just told you that finds the kill onto Peter and running on by. Speak Easy catches a free strike. I mean, the replay basically highlights how easy that was in the end on basically both of them. Just sneaks on through. And Elevate have just been able to really turn the tide so quickly. The opening 2 rounds, you know, Variant X definitely deserved those rounds. They were the better of the 2 teams. They played with conviction. They played aggressive. They got on the front foot. And to be fair, they haven't really changed a whole lot, guys. They're just not quite able to punish Elevate. They're not getting those opening picks. Elevate's being a little bit more cautious. That's basically still a credit to Variant X because they're forcing Elevate to play that little bit better. And that's just going to be too much, though, for Variant X to handle, and hence the scoreboard now 3-2. And you would imagine once Elevate get on the defense, that's probably going to be the game.
Into round 6 then, Elevate gaining momentum, looking really good. Variant X struggling to formulate a response.
10 seconds to insertion.
Let's see what they can do here. It felt like Variant X have just petered out a little bit in the last couple of rounds. The initial start here on Clubhouse was strong, but since then, Elevate have bested them and looks like the better team by quite a significant margin. The spread, though, across both teams, very even at the moment. Very much a team effort from both sides, which is great to see. Elevate will posture over towards Kennels. Look to take it east across. Barcode to kick things off. Some up on CCTV. Wall just opening up that line of sight that prevents Variant X from rotating. And will force Rams to watch it quite closely. Now, he himself on the wall by last time was very strong in this position and will probably be the player to watch on defense once again.
Special charge. Stay clear. Look out. It's live.
Jacuzzi opened up nice and early, 2 minutes. Not bad. Good defense. Healthcare takes a big chunk of damage at Speak Easy. That once again finds an opening kill for the side of Elevate. I think that's now 3-4 rounds in a row. And especially in comparison to the opening 2 rounds, that was something that was a bit of a boon for Variant X. They've just not been able to find success in that department. Again, it just really spreads that defense thin. It puts so much pressure on everyone else filling in positions. Dists, Rams, both still just kind of double stacking over towards Cash. Ape, does he have intel on that position of Rams? Barcode outside of Jacuzzi, putting pressure on there as well. So basically now from all angles, Variant X are under threat.
Can Rams step up to the pressure, step up to the plate in this position? It's a good cross here over towards the balcony and alleviates pressure elsewhere on site itself, but needs to be careful. Ape is so close by, 1 volt away from getting this kill. But he's playing it so patiently because he knows the moment he vaults, he gives away that sound cue.
A bomb has been located.
Barcode, though, he's the one to clean it up. Ape now is a highway towards site. And Variant X falling 1 by 1.
Yeah. It's a shame, too, because they started so well in the first 2 rounds. Healthcare will finish it off, and in the end, the half well and truly goes the way of Elevate. 4 attacking rounds on Clubhouse is a huge success. And probably puts the nail in the coffin of Variant X. If there was any kind of fairy tale run, it was shut down really quickly. Yeah, the opening 2 rounds were clean from Variant X. They won them, deservedly so. But Elevate just kind of went up a gear. The first 2 rounds, they were kind of just cruising. Really probably weren't playing at their absolute best. VRX punished that, and rightfully so. Elevate just sort of stepped up a bit, and well, here we are. They are now in a very, very commanding position. Straight down they go to basement. Up 4-2. Now on the defensive clubhouse. I'd put my channel points here at a 7-2 victory for Elevate. I don't think VRX will get many good looks on the attack here of clubhouse.
I mean, that's a pretty big call from you. How many channel points do you have? A couple hundred, maybe?
I lost a lot in the old APAC South days, mate. I lost a lot. There was some crazy results in that league.
5 seconds left.
Now let's see though. I like this lineup though from Elevate. Capcan, Solus, Oryx, all indicative of, I think, the approach they'll take of being quite aggressive here, free flowing around the map. Oh my god, that's one way to find drones. Very efficient. Barcode needs to be careful though. Resists, great work on the Bark. Catches the dizzying Barcode off a guard. And that's the kind of thing that VRX need to be able to do.
Yeah, doing 360s in garage. I mean, that's just, I think, honestly, a very bizarre move from Barcode, not taking the round seriously. And you'll get punished. We saw that in the opening 2 rounds. I mean, obviously now Elevate are in a position where they know, okay, we can just kind of flick the switch and we'll win this game. We pretty much can't lose unless we pretty much do some weird stuff like what they're doing in this round. I mean, this is basically a freebie, right? They're all off-site, running around, garage, over towards bar, motor. I mean, they're just basically just not really taking this round seriously at all. Disappointing, and I'm glad they're losing it.
Attacker's bomb diffuser has been dropped.
All of you though would be the ones who maybe bring it back, but it's going to be tough. Speak Easy's still alive as well. He's really kicked into gear the last couple of rounds. He was quite docile at the beginning of this match, but was put in a position to find more kills, and he did so. Credit to VRX, they'll do their due diligence. Zis getting hatches open. He's had quite a big round. Oh, Vert needs to be mindful. Takes a little bit of damage, but survives, and critically hatch is now opened up. And now it's a matter of just making sure that these defenders are accounted for. And VRX shouldn't have too many issues in being able to isolate them.
Did you just call them X?
Is it VRX?
Oh, I thought okay. I thought you just called them X. I was like, I didn't realize.
There was a bit of a pause. I had a bit of a brain delay. Bit of lag.
Didn't know you guys were cool like that. They should win this, surely. Told you in Speak Easy, obviously taking this very serious now. Told you his position. He gets forced away. Well, healthcare from the grey with the EDD actually finds a kill, and told you he gets the down to assist. It's a 2 versus 2 with 35 seconds left. They really kicked into gear. Peter, though, shuts down Tolji. Speak Easy should win this one, but Main, no, lost it. Peter then gets the good swing, and VRX do indeed capitalize on a very sloppy round from Elevate. Makes it 4-3, and basically just says to Elevate, look, you guys are good. You can't play at 60% and expect to win, though. We're going to force you to play at your best to win this one.
Yeah, I think Elevate have been put in their place a little bit that round. Probably limit testing a little bit too much, and VRX. Whoa, skull. That is not a sponsored segment. That is not a sponsored webcam, but that is going to be a great energy boost. As I was going to say, yeah, VRX took that round seriously themselves. Very disciplined, even when they did get that initial lead, and Zis was finding a couple of opening picks. They still got the hatches open, they were still quite solid in the execution, just making sure that they dotted their I's, crossed their T's, didn't leave anything to chance. And respect to them for doing that, and hopefully Elevate bring their A game this round. We get to see how that stacks up.
Yeah. It's good signs though for VRX. I'm actually pretty big on them from this game. I mean, when Elevate are not at their best, they're winning. And I know that basically says, okay, well, they're not going to be a team that's competing top 3, top 4, and that's fair enough. They're not expected to. But it kind of highlights that with a bit of growth this year, they're not too far away. Probably a little bit closer than some maybe would have expected. Obviously, disappointing result against Bleed Esports, only getting 2 rounds on the defense of Villa. But I think we've seen enough from Bleed today that suggests that they are going to be the best team in this league. So it does kind of speak volumes. And Alabama, yeah, I mean, I guess you just got to have a bit of fun with it. You don't want to be too serious, but it does kind of show that the gap is not as big as maybe they thought it was.
The main war minigame now begins. Barcode on the bandit, looking to trick the wall and strike with the exothermic in hand. They'll probably dance on the breach, but for now, no action. No Thatcher available to aid in this process. And Barcode should be relatively calm for now. I think it'll probably take a nade to dislodge this position. We'll have to wait and see. The batteries are active at the moment, so the first step really is in clearing those. And that alone may be a challenge as Speakeasy is lurking down below as well. So this main breach is going to play a key role in this round, as it always does, but I think Elevate have done a great job of making it very challenging for the attack, but perhaps the attack will be able to ignore it. They get the opening pick, and that of course is the bandit. Speakeasy to retake and hungry to trade. Lands the shots, and now it's a 4v4.
Yeah, lower HP exist, so kind of vulnerable out on balcony. And I think Speakeasy's game sense just kicked into overdrive there to probably think no one else might re-peek that, so he rushes over to peek it. Does lose his life eventually though to Rams down in Lounge, and with a minute left, gives VRX the lead once again in this round. 4-3 in a winnable position until Rams loses his life to Healthcare. And Healthcare still has that rafters control and has spotted 2 outside of garage, and he gets the kill onto 1, or at least the down. He's about to throw that nade and has done so. 2 in this round and gives Elevate the lead. Knows where 1 is. The question is, do they know where the other? It's Peter on the rappel outside kennel, so they are both in very difficult positions to go and clutch up this round. With only 30 seconds left, it would take an utter miracle.
The ball really in the court of strike, needs to show initiation and clear out garage or make his way up red. Peter's isolated on an island outside breach. Strike needs to win this fight. If he does, it's on. If not, it's round over. And unfortunately, it is in fact the round over. Elevate with another round added to their total.
Yeah, and even if you had won that fight, even if you kill Healthcare at rafters, the time it would take to get on site, to get the plant down, to clear the remaining player or 2 still over towards site, it's just not happening. The Elevate, again, highlight to us that when they try, when they play at their best, there is that gap. In bedroom we go for the 9th round. VRX have shown some good signs in their play to date, and I think that they should be rather comfortable with the way that they've played here on Clubhouse. They'll give themselves really good hope for the rest of this league, right? Because obviously day 1, it's a tough ask. You're taking on Bleed, you're taking on Elevate. That's your day 1 schedule. That's quite daunting. And obviously they would have been a little bit disappointed with a 2-7 loss. This might end up being a 3-7 loss, but at least it's improvement. We kind of look forward to their next couple of games. And actually they got Fury next, so it doesn't really get much easier, but then you've got Wasted Potential, then you've got Devil Dog. So, you know, the middle portion of this stage, even towards the end, is where they can probably find some success.
5 seconds remaining.
Look, this league is really about peaking at the right time, even if you don't have the best of league stages, if you want to call it that, leading into the qual portion where you actually then get matched against South Asia. If you peak then, you might actually be okay. Yeah. So, provided, yeah, you ride that wave and don't get too down on yourselves. It's a very interesting format that rewards teams that show up when it really matters. As for this game though, round 9, Elevate wrestling control back. RP down below an oil pit. Rams with the drone close by. Don't know if the shoulder of RP was spotted. I think it may have, or at least the drone is placed. But this engagement could set the tone. I don't get the impression Rams knows. Nah, he doesn't. Or RP needed to get that kill. Rams survives.
Well, it didn't need to. I don't know if it needed to get that kill. too threatening with allowing him up towards rafters, and he gets him extremely low and calls it out too. So it's a known position.
Attackers
So
have dropped the bomb diffuser.
it's not that bad. And then Speakeasy goes elsewhere to find the actual opening kill with the SMG-11 by taking out Strike, and that's the Thermite gone. We do still have the ace though with those Salmas. Obviously Jacuzzi hasn't been opened up yet, but he's over towards Kennel. So it's a long trip over to the other side of the map. I'm going to go on a limb here and say I don't know if Jacuzzi's going to get opened. And if that is the case, then it's going to be a very one-dimensional attack for Variant X.
Again, only made more difficult with Rams already low. And utility slowly being depleted. Only singular nade left in the hands of each player. Now just a singular in the hands of Zists. So this round does not look good for Variant X, and the win conditions deplete. But Zists has been a shining light for this team. A couple of key moments so far in this match where things haven't looked great. He's stepped up, or he's put his team in winnable positions, but he needs to go big once more. Peter as well lurking on the balcony. If he catches one off guard, that opens it up again. Unfortunately, though, does get pre-fired. So his position revealed. Unfortunately, taken down. So it's a 2 versus 4, Elevate in a commanding position.
Really good patience there from Speakeasy. Oh, that's a little bit of VM with the Nitrocell to finish off Zists, despite his good efforts. As you were praising him that round, he cops a mean way to die. But Speakeasy, such a strong veteran, played that well over at main stairs, didn't overpeak, knew that he was basically going to get pre-fired, waited and waited, timed it right, got the kill. Church Arsenal will go match point round, 7-3 looming. Provided, of course, Elevate take this round seriously.
I think they will. I don't think they want to be playing this game any longer than they need to.
Defenders, protect your bombs from
Been a pretty solid effort from Elevate so far. A good first day for them in this league. 7-0 to kick things off. And shaping up to be another relatively dominant win. Perhaps maybe not as dominant as we expected, but I think retroactively we didn't give as much credit to Variant X as perhaps they deserved. I think overall they have played pretty well, and looking at players again like Zists, Peter as well, have stood up on occasion and shown some resistance to Elevate, but they are lacking experience, so we always have to taper those expectations accordingly. And now heading in to round number 10. Let's see if they can just shake it up once more. Speakeasy going for a spawn peek. Perhaps confidence flowing again. Speakeasy as well. Quickly touching on him. Started off quite slow. Really did ramp it up though in the back half of this game, and perhaps a sign of things to come. We know how good he's been in the past.
Yeah, and for Elevate to be a contender, not just really in this league, but in the SEA League, but the whole Asian League in itself, and competing against the likes of Bleed, Esports, Direwolves, Fury, I think they're going to need old Speakeasy. And so far, early days, but I think we're seeing good signs that he might be able to return to his best. And if that is the case, it's a very, very strong Elevate roster for 2023. Rams will get a bit of clearance here on the drone through CCTV into cache, and it's all cleared out, and obviously top floor not being defended for Church Arsenal. There is no ultra aggressive roam from Elevate. They are keeping it very much on lock this round. I think they want to get this one over and done with. Barcode on main stairs. Everyone else pretty much on site. Minute and a half remaining, and Variant X have really taken their time clearing top floor for a site that, for a floor not being defended. Only now really getting to work in kitchen.
Decent clear though, Variant X. They are forcing these defenders back with good vert. Haven't been able to find a kill, and Arpe aggressive. Not only looking to impact trick the hatch, but looking for a kill, and that's exactly what he got. unfortunate, VRX, their hard work not being rewarded until now. Good work from Killers, gets the trade. Hatch is now open, minute to go, but Tolji then finds one back. So just as VRX look okay, Elevate, stamp their authority. Speak easy, load the grenade, I don't think will land. So he'll live another day. 45 seconds now remains for VRX to trade out this round. I think it's possible. I truly do, but it's going to be so tough. They have a bit of
I don't think
information
so.
to play off now, but the positions from Elevate look too good.
Yeah, and Strike's got Diffuser pushing down main, and it's being watched by Tolji with the mirror and the Nitrocell. Does avoid the Nitrocell, forces him back. Peter was able to push in, got some pressure onto Tolji, survived it though. And that was actually a big moment. Tolji dies there. Suddenly there's an entry point. Rams does fight the kill. Tolji then goes and gets Strike as well. 3 in the round for the mirror. Big difference maker was Tolji. He gets a quad to finish this one. That's a big result for Elevate, a very next team that really pushed them to their limits, forced them to play at their best. They did go one better than their Bleed Esports match, which was a 7-2 loss, this one being a 7-3 loss, but Elevate too good. And Speak Easy shining for his new team, for this new team, I guess you could say. And to be fair, Healthcare, Tolji all with 10 alongside Speak Easy. A real team effort. I mean, they were in control, guys, really, from, I don't want to say start to finish, because the first 2 rounds, actually, VRX were very good. After that, though, it was all Elevate after that, though.
Yeah, out of the gate, VRX looked great, but then Elevate, I think the afterburners really kicked in and they showed us what they were made of. And look, this new era of Elevate, of course, has a lot to live up to in terms of the org scene. We know the history that they've had in the past, and I think they're off to a good start. Today was a success. They get maximum points, they dominate. But of course, going forward, when they take on arguably some more challenging opponents, we'll get to see what they're really made of. For example, in their next play day, they'll be taking on Direwolves, rather, who perhaps showed some kinks in the armor today. So that'll be the real tester, and then we get to see where Elevate are truly at.
Yeah, and I'm just kind of taking a very brief look, because obviously we've gotten through all 7 of our matches now and where things stand. I think really at the conclusion of today, guys, Bleed Esports have probably been the story in the big match, that rematch for Reaps against his old team, against the Direwolves. They won that one rather convincingly in the second half, and I think they really set the tone, set the pace for the rest of the stage. Obviously, Elevate themselves, they've picked up 2 wins, so they're kind of there with them, and that battle for the top spots. I mean, obviously there's not much of a difference right between first, second and third, so evidently I think if you're a Bleed, if you're an Elevate, you're pretty content regardless that you're probably going to be able to get, you know, one of those top 3 spots. And I guess it is just a matter of who gets third. Is it going to be Fury? Is it going to be Direwolves? Teams like Champion, VRX, can they potentially fight for those positions? I think Devil Dog, you know, we only saw them once, Guz, but it was a bad one. And wasted potential, 2 losses and 2 bad losses, probably out of contention for that top 3 position. Early days, though, of course, but nevertheless, I think that's probably a good way to summarize today's action. It's been good. It's been a good return for SEA Siege from, you know, basically the end of APAC South last year to now. Yeah,
for sure. It was decently competitive across the board. I think the big red flag was some of the attacks across multiple teams were struggling. Perhaps that's more so to credit the defense of these teams setting up well and making life difficult, but I hope that as we progress forward we see that attack equalize a little bit across the board and we see that improve.
Well, before we finalize the show for today, of course, we'll go back to the desk and they can break down today's play here for SEA.